My Galaxians, it has finally happened. What do I mean by finally? Well, most of us assumed that this would turn into a lawsuit or some kind of legal blow at some point. Since SpiderTanks, we have not seen any development on for, has it been like a year? Man, it has been a long time. So let's dive into basically the lawsuit and what's going on. As always, just because I'm a judge for the hackathon, I'm not a real judge. I'm just going to be reading these things off. Do your own research, make your own decisions, give your own perspective. And secondly, this is only so far Gala's side of things. So as the month goes on and the time goes on, we see more exhibits, more filings, yada, yada, yada. We'll see kind of a whole different picture from both sides. So yesterday, Gala dropped this news article, SpiderTanks working towards a better arena, and I'll drop that below. And what they did in here is they were actually nice. They went ahead and posted a link where you can actually go to the filing that they submitted. Now, in it, essentially, they're saying that Gamedia, stopped supporting the game SpiderTanks, and that they're going to be using legal methods to try to enforce that contract. So let's go ahead and just jump into the article here. And I'll go ahead and remove this so that you can see the full screen in case you want to try to pause and read at any point. So this is filed in the Central District of California, specifically because that's where they signed their contract, more or less. So we're just going to read at least the initial part because this covers most of it. So Gala Games brings this lawsuit because defendant Gamedia, the developer that Gala Games hired for the popular SpiderTanks game, abandoned its obligation to support the game and left the gaming community without the exciting features and new developments that made the game popular. Gala Games has tried everything to encourage Gamedia to comply with its legal obligations, or at the bare minimum, allowing Gala Games to take over development. Nothing has worked. Gamedia has refused to share the information that Gala Games needs to take over development and has officially reassigned its staff to other projects that it deems more profitable. Now, Gamedia doubled down on this bad faith course of action by threatening to steal the game's distribution rights from Gala Games and to publish it on its own unapproved and unsupported platforms, where the quality will suffer and the community will be further alienated. More specifically, Gamedia has sent bogus termination notices and has also taken the self-contradictory position that Gala Games' exclusive rights to the game terminate in September 2024. In fact, by the plain language of the agreement, the rights persist until 2025. I agree that for Gala Games, this is not good, right? It going somewhere else. For the community, well, it depends. If Gamedia keeps those NFTs viable, which I don't know if they're able to, if there's like Gala stuff in there or Gala owns those NFTs. But if it was able to go somewhere else and take off, then technically the community could maybe do okay. Gamedia's extortion plan is plain. First, it demanded that Gala Games pay it to turn over the source code that it all is already obligated to turn over. I don't know if it's obligated to turn it over. And then Gamedia threatened to terminate the license and take away the game from Gala Games when its demands were not met. So first off, if you didn't know, Gamedia is in the Netherlands. So I was curious on how worldwide legal stuff happens, but apparently since all this was signed in California, they're under California law. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just my assumption. So one big term of that agreement was that it was going to last for 3 years from the commercial launch of the branded game. So that's one big sticking point that they are arguing about. The commercial launch meaning like everybody in the world can play it without any kind of like special beta access or code or anything to get on. Under the agreement, Game Media granted to Gala Games an exclusive license during that term. Now, the commercial launch occurred on October 31st, 2022, which sounds about right. I didn't look straight back from that, but basically that would mean October 31st, 2025 is when we would be looking at that term ending. Now, of course, we haven't really had much going on for the past year, so it's kind of hard to say that the past year should even count towards that, in my opinion. In exchange for its exclusive license, Gala Games paid Gamedia a development budget as well as a share of the game revenue, together worth at the time tens of millions of US dollars. If that's true, holy moly. I don't remember how big Gamedia is, but I mean, if they got tens of millions of dollars, let's just assume it was like 25 million bucks. I mean, you think you'd keep developing the game just based on some of that game revenue coming in, but I don't know the background or what that looked like on the back end, or if that was in Silk, which of course wouldn't have been really a 1-to-1 value because of the liquidity wasn't really there. Gala Games cannot address its users' dissatisfaction without court intervention, which is true. I mean, Gala Games can't really do anything with the game. They don't own the game. They don't have the source code, so they can't really do much. At this time, without court assistance, only Gamedia can develop upgrades because doing so requires modifying the branded game source code, which Gamedia currently possesses, and Gala Games does not. So they say that Gamedia attempted to tie the 3-year period to a different term that was not the commercial launch, purportedly occurring in November 2021. And then when Gala Games showed that error, they then backtracked and tied it to a closed beta test in September 2021, which, if it was a closed beta test, I mean, that's definitely not commercial launch in my opinion. And then finally, Gamedia concocted a list of supposed breaches committed by Gala. So obviously, as we continue through the month, and once Gamedia puts out their side and their whole form, I'm sure we will see what these quote breaches are that they believe Gala Games committed. On March 6, 2024, Gamedia publicly announced that it was ready to kick it into the next gear for the future and was looking for partners to get in on this action. And so they are talking about this specific Twitter post right here, where Gamedia posted a video and basically said that they're primed for growth, they're ready to kick it into gear, and that this video is a little taste to come, and asking if they wanted to partner up to get in on this action. Now, again, I don't know IP law and all that stuff. But I do know some of the people, in focus here are Gala Game employees and executives. So I don't know if they're allowed to use videos of them or not. And then with that said too, all the SpiderTank stuff in here, technically Gala Game still has the branded exclusive rights to the image and stuff, right? At the moment, I don't know. Once again, I'm not an IP person, so like lawyer or law, so I don't know exactly how that works, 100%. But I know they were probably upset about that Twitter post. So we're just gonna go down to what Gala Games is looking for. Their prayer for relief. Declaration of the date of the commercial launch and the expiration of the term of the agreement. So they want the court to say, this is when the term agreement ends. Injunctive relief, including a prohibition against Gamedia from prematurely terminating that agreement or violating the exclusive license before proper termination. Specific performance, turnover, order, and writ of possession. Replevin, I don't even know what that word means, requiring Gamedia to promptly deliver the branded game source code so that they can actually, do stuff with it or work on the game. Compensatory damages, including for cessation of support of the branded game, which I guess would be like, a year's worth. Restitution of monies and cryptocurrencies paid to Gamedia under the agreement. Disgorgement of any benefit received by Gamedia for the agreement. Judgment against any alter egos who receive distribution of any monies, cryptocurrencies, or benefits. Attorney's fees, costs, pre-judgment, post-judgment, and anything else that the judge wants. So obviously Gala Games is trying to use legal means to basically enforce that they continue to update and work on the game, and, improve it, develop it, whatever during that time. Again, I don't know how I'm wondering if we'll end up seeing the exact agreement. I know they usually try to, seal it? They'll pass a motion to try to seal the contracts usually whenever they come through, but as we progress, I'll keep you guys updated. This one will probably see quite a few stuff in the next month here kind of come out, and maybe some exhibits too, so it will be interesting to see. Definitely not a win yet for SpiderTanks community. You can still play it. I'm still putting in my tanks and my maps and stuff. It's still a fun game. I think it could go really far. Honestly, I think just grouping up in crypto and Web3 gaming, right? It has the potential for great success. So definitely sad, and we'll kind of see how it continues to progress. As always, stay warm, Wookiees.